So let's guys continue with the next part. So the way guys we did yesterday, we have discussed some of the commonly used features in any of the programming world. But yeah, Ansible is, you can consider as a programming, but technically it's a tool for the configuration management. Okay, so but this tool also have a support for basic feature or the closes that other programming also have. So yesterday guys, we have discussed about how we can use the conditions on the Ansible, and I have given you multiple examples or use cases also uh, uh, to how to use if condition, here the keyword called when, and which kind of and how we can use this, right? So I've given multiple examples over here, and one of the great you know step where you can use when clause is to control one task from other. So if one task will do something for you, and if this task fail or maybe change, or maybe there might be some kind of output come up, because guys, when you run some task, they store the output in some variables, so I can say some in some keys, and by looking at this key, those keys, we can retrieve some value from that, right? And accordingly we take the decision. Okay, and those keys guys, they store in some variable, but we have to store it, and because you we have to store it, so that is the reason we have to use a keyword called register. Okay, so yesterday guys, I have used one of the key called RC key that store the written key, written code or success code of your that particular task fail or run successful, or maybe failed key also we use. But you don't have to remember those key name. I told you the one way and approach. Just run that particular task, store the output of the task in a register, with the register attribute of the Ansible, it's in some variable, and just print it with the debug, or I can say with the print. Again, that will give you the complete list of output or the key or attribute available in the output of that particular task. So as yesterday was um, class was purely discussed on this approach, but don't worry guys, this kind of practical especially the when or conditions will come multiple time in my this Ansible training. So you guys become very much comfortable in my some more after I show you some more example of that part. Okay, so let's continue, guys, with the today's topic. Similarly, we have some example today or some basis concept very much useful in the Ansible. We will discuss today. Okay. So before, guys, I'll go for some new topic for today. I want to give one task. The task this task, guys, I already have given you. Okay, but I want to enhance and add some more steps on that particular task. So task is something like this, right? So guys, long ago I have given you one task, that what you have to do, you have to create a playbook. And in the playbook, guys, with you to write a multiple thing. The first thing you have to do, you have to install the entire Docker system. Okay, and guys, when I say install Docker, rather than I say install, I can say you have to set up the entire Docker. Means you have to install the software, then you have to start the services, maybe something like this. So I want, this is one of the thing you want to do, I want you do from the playbook, even though I have shown this step in my class also. Then what I want in the Docker, you have to use certain images. So I want you write some task or module that will download a image for you. Let's say you will download some image of CentOS, for example, or maybe Red Hat or Ubuntu. So let's say you download the image for CentOS Linux. And after you download, guys, this image, I want you write one more module. What they will do, they will run this image and they launch the OS. And you guys know, in the Docker world, OS is known as container. So I want you guys, with the playbook, you launch the container. But this, what this container contain? This contains a new brand OS launched from the CentOS image. Okay, why you launch the OS? Okay, why you launch the OS? You launch the OS. You launch the OS because inside this OS you will configure something. configure something. And now what do you want to configure? Maybe HA load balancer or databases or web server. So again, guys, take the same example. I want you configure web server over here. Again, same Apache web server, because CentOS, the software name here is HTTPD. So I want you install HTTPD web server here. So I want this to be done. Okay. Now the interesting thing, what you will see here. Okay, there's two or three multiple list interesting thing. One of the interesting thing is whenever you launch the OS or a container from the image, this become a new OS for you. Okay, and who will configure this guy in the next step? I want Ansible will configure, and in the Ansible guys, we have a controller node. So I want controller node will configure this guy. And guys, if you want container node will configure this guy, then container node should know the IP of this guy, right? In the inventory. So in the inventory database, they have to update the IP. But guys, anybody who know Docker, they know whenever you launch the OS, right? Every time IP will change, and we don't know the IP. What IP next time will come up? So it is something again look like a AWS kind of challenge. What I explain in my AWS practicals. Okay, but it doesn't mean it always solve with the same process, right? There might be some other process we have to use. But let's say you also know IP address. Let's say you know the IP of this guy. Maybe that's, for example, this one. But technically they always be different. Maybe this next time 3 come up, 4 come up. But let's say this one. Or let's say if you know the IP address, you update in the controller node that we already know the IP. First of all, guys, whenever you launch a new OS, technically you don't know what IP will come up. Normally IP will come from DSAP, means dynamically. Normally we don't know the IP address. Okay. But let's say if you know the IP, there's one more challenge come up. The challenge is whenever you launch OS from some image, especially in Docker world, new OS will launch, and typically these OS won't come up with SSH enabled. So in this OS, guys, SSH is not enabled. And if SSH is not enabled, I told you guys in the Ansible, because this is OS is CentOS means Linux, and from the controller node, if you want to configure this guy, and this will be my target node or managed node, they will go via SSH. And if SSH is not enabled, how they configure, how they connect, and without the connect, how they might know the IP, but SSH protocol is not enabled, or technically is known as a service is not enabled, right? How they connect and configure the guy. Okay, so multiple guys challenge you will see, but the use case wise what I'm talking about here is very interesting. So I want to write a playbook that will do all the setup for you. So installing the Docker, to downloading the image, to launching the container, and in the container configure something for you, maybe database or mail server, web server, right? I want everything to be done by the playbook. Interesting thing is we know how to configure web server. We also might know how to download the image of CentOS. You will find some Docker module, or maybe you can use directly command also. But challenge is, this kind of challenges, how to retrieve the IP dynamically, or how to SS is not enabled, so how we set up the SSS there. So this kind of challenge you guys have to solve with the Ansible. Okay, so guys, this is one of the tasks. This task, guys, I already given to you, but I am extending this task from here. Okay. Very much useful task, a lot of kind of use case you can solve in the real world by having this kind of playbook. Okay, so this is one task, or you can say as a homework. If you just, I want guys try this, a lot of new concepts you will understand from this task. Okay, so this is one homework I want to give you. And guys, one more thing, whenever I say when I give homework, it is also one more way to give you some more new idea, that this can be also thing, or this can be also come up, or this can be challenge or use cases we have that we have to try. So giving the homework or task is also open one more extra door for you to give you some more extra use case information. But good thing is we're not only discussing, we also implementing by learning multiple concepts of the Ansible. Okay, so let's go for the main topic today. Before, guys, I go for main topic of the Ansible, right? And before I explain the agenda, I have one quick announcement for you. maybe interesting announcement for you, because a lot of guys just keep on asking from multiple weeks and different classes also about this. So there's one announcement, guys. Here is, the power of the Docker. Anybody who know the Docker, in 1 second entire OS launch, uh, we can set up the entire environment here. If you go to DevOps or Jenkins or any of the environment, maybe cloud, behind the scene everybody use the Docker. And you also guys know Docker is just a software name. They work on a technology called container technology or containerization. So you guys might know this concept. And Docker is a guys one of the great company. It has a great tool, Docker. And from the inception of um, but this tool, I am the one of the great promoter means I love this tool, so I always talk about Docker, and on another my technological area. This is a great tool. But you know what? This container technology, because of Docker, this container technology becomes so famous. I don't think so, guys. Any of the industry in the market who are not using Docker, or I can actually I can say any of the company who are not using container, and they don't want to use a container. So almost all the application, guys, they are running on the top of container. And even though, okay, the rise of the container world or maybe Docker world become more more famous and more realistic or industry wise usable when the Kubernetes come in play from the Google, and now it's open source. So in last, even though from a couple of years, but from last this year or last 2 years, I've seen a huge growth in the container world and in the Kubernetes world, because these are the one work together. Because Kubernetes is just a management tool for the container, or maybe I can say I can say the Docker. Okay, so I think everybody know about the Kubernetes and all the things. um, so one information I just want to tell you, then I'll go for my announcement. Okay, so an information would be would be Kubernetes need kind of work on container technologies, and main product behind the technology contains Docker. But Docker has some powerful tool, but Docker has some kind of limitation right in this tool. Okay, and that is the reason, guys, a lot of different communities in the company start, you can think as a manufacturing, or start creating researching new way of to containerizing the things. And they come up, multiple communities come up with multiple different container tools. Okay, one of the name would be Podman. But there's one more tool, right? They are so famous, so powerful, so secure. You guys know Docker is super fast, right? But they are faster than Docker also. Okay, and name of that tool that work again with the same technological container is called Cryo. Okay, and it's become so powerful, so mature, so much useful, all right, and secure and fast also. So for the Kubernetes, the first choice that's called engine, actually runtime engine or runtime container. Previously they supported greatly on the Docker, but now they are moving or maybe most of the part is moved toward the Cryo. And that is the reason, guys, Kubernetes recently announced they are dropping Kubernetes announce, because everybody need container. Till date, everybody need Docker, but actually they actually need container, and they don't never maintain the containers or directly with the Docker. They always use some kind of management or orchestration tool or cluster tool like Kubernetes. So all the company guys use Kubernetes, and behind the scene they use Docker or something like this. So Kubernetes everybody need, that's for sure. But Kubernetes say, for me, the best support that my customer want or any of the company want, maybe IBM, maybe Red Hat, maybe XYZ company, maybe Amazon or JPMC. Okay, is Kubernetes. But Kubernetes say, my best colleague who will work for me is Cryo, not now Docker. So Kubernetes guys recently announced they are dropping Docker. That's all. Or they're dropping the support for Docker, or I can say they absolute the Docker soon. Okay, so there's one thing. So my point over here is, right, if you really want to do something on the DevOps world, Ansible is one of the great tool, but you guys know it is only for configuration management. But if you want to orchestrate your applications, spawn, build, manage, and tons of things, guys, we have to do. Kubernetes is the now industry standard, you can think, for your applications runtime, I can say, or management of the applications, right, in all the forms. And for the Kubernetes, CRI would be the one, not the Docker. So this one is an information I just want to give you, that from the Kubernetes angle, Docker will be no more. You can think in this way. Okay, and that is the reason, guys. That is the reason it's very important, because this is the best time and right time. Whenever the new thing come up, that time if you capture the market, if you're in the business or in the support or consulting work, or maybe you're a learner, if something come up, that time if you capture the things or learn the things, you will always get extra benefit out of from the other guys. And the biggest challenge here in the market, Kubernetes is one of the great tool, is also known as K8s, but there is no SS platform or training tutorials available in the market that will train us how to use Kubernetes with Cryo, or how to configure Kubernetes with the CRI, or how to launch the applications or container known as pod in the Kubernetes that run on the top of CRI. There's no SS proper training available in the market, I can say in this way. Maybe some document you'll find, but not proper training available. So guys, I had just created, even though Kubernetes actually normally come from Linux Foundation, they also have an official program. They will update. Recently, they updated their program called CKA, is a official training from. If you guys search for CKA, training, or I can say examination maybe. So this is the official training name from the Linux Foundation, right? Is called admin program of the Kubernetes. So even though they recently updated this program in 2020, but that contain almost everything about the Kubernetes. But 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 even though in this program, because they recently updated, but announcement we have done, these guys had done recently again, I think in this week, I believe. So they haven't updated this program yet, but yeah, soon they are also updating this program also. Concept are the same, but they will change the runtime engine. Okay, so what I did, guys, I created one very core to advanced program in the Kubernetes. They cover all the concept of the Kubernetes. This first of all. Second thing, they cover all the global certification prospective content that's obviously they have. Plus, I create extra program on Cryo. Then we cover all the Cryo. Then then one part where we integrate Kubernetes with the Cryo. So very customized program I create, and one of the biggest program I can say, or I can say 10x time more content what is available in the market. Any of the website you go, okay, about the Kubernetes, you go to here XYZ. I don't want to point out anybody, any training organization, but yeah, it would be 10x more content. Okay, but the important point here is Kubernetes is one of the great tool in the DevOps world. Everybody should know, and every industry. I've seen a huge huge uh, you know certain requirement in the market in the terms of projects or jobs come up in the Kubernetes. Okay, so the training content, guys, cover the global certification. So anybody who are interested in to go for global examination of Kubernetes, so after this training they will prepare. We also do some extra boot camp for those guys. Plus, anybody who want to know everything about Kubernetes, they can go for this training. And anybody who wanted to know about new container engine, so we have a separate program I created for this guy over here, that we are giving with the Kubernetes. mm, mm, you can think as a bonus or as a free, and plus how to integrate Kubernetes with the Cryo. So it's a complete package we are giving you. So, so this, guys, this is a small announcement from my side. The big announcement over here is anybody who are the part of my Earth program. They are known as Earth Learner. Okay, so guys, we are doing a lot of maybe some of the guys over here might not be know about this program, but there's a long process, long program for some reason. Okay, So for the guys, anybody who are here, the Earth learner, so we make this entire Kubernetes, right, from the core to advanced, the new updated program with the global one. Okay, and interesting thing is the new concept of cryo with the integration, right? It will be completely free for the Earth learner. So everybody over here as Earth learner, you don't have technically the official price. If you just go for Kubernetes, just like a global certificate level only. So normal market price as a live training. I'm not talking about recorded classes. I'm talking live training. Some normally in Indian currency they charge you 15,000 rupees on an average. Okay, if you go for live instructor based training, literally. Okay. So in my Earth program, guys, we already told you we will give you Kubernetes training in a program, but that's only Kubernetes. But there's a lot of things come up now, just now. So we are adding all the things for you, and we won't charge anything for you. That's for the Earth learner. But anybody who are not the Earth learner, but you guys now become the uh, Linux world uh, family member or Linux World student. So normally, guys, for Linux World student, we always do something extra. So anybody over here who are just a Linux World student, so around 85 to 90% discount we will provide you guys in this track. Anybody who are not Linux World, they might be 70% discount. So there's a website, guys. I will update you guys the link in your respective WhatsApp group. So that's what we are trying. Intention is, yeah, this is the one only batch, right? The way we did only one MLOps batch or one DevOps assembly line batch, one Flutter batch. So I always guys try to explore the market and always try to come up with the new course that is not the common course that you always see in the market. The course that is useful, beneficial for future, for a career, maybe for a job, and plus give you enhance your career in such a way that nobody can compare. So a lot of guys might know Kubernetes, might know Docker, but they don't know cryo. They don't know how to integrate Kubernetes with the cryo. Plus, in the Kubernetes, lots of advanced concepts there. Maybe Helm or maybe a lot of security and networking, maybe CNI or NFV or CSD, and lots of things there in the Kubernetes would be there that normally in the program, in depth level, in the program normally we don't cover, market don't cover. Okay, so everything is there. So that's the reason, guys, this program is a little bit longer. Normally, if you go to official, this program may be 32 hours or 30 hours, 25 hours, I don't know. Okay, but this program, the pure practical based program that we are doing with Ansible is around 50 hours. And plus maybe cryo might will 10 plus hours. So around 60 hours in total, around, right? This program will go, means at the same time, guys, after the Ansible complete, I think 5th of January we are starting the same timing, 9:15, and it might go around 2 months to complete this program with a lot of real use cases also we are going to discuss in this program. Okay, so for Earth learner is free. That's good thing. Anybody who are not Earth, they can also join this program. Okay, that's a small announcement I want to do. Again, my main intention was to also tell you this part, the cryo one. Okay, and according to my research, this is the first time and first training program happening where we are uh, providing you the cryo training that is integrated with the Kubernetes. But by chance, my team has seen one link of cryo Kubernetes training somewhere. Okay, I think this website, very small content, at 10, 12, 15, I think I've seen. But the issue was not the content, issue was the price. I don't know why, how much they charge. It's not 3,500 rupees, it's dollar, right? $3,500 for this course. Okay, 14 hours course with Kubernetes Cryo. And even the content is very smaller. It's smaller, one of the smallest content I've seen. That's about very small contents. Okay. But I think 100 times more content we'll have in this training, what I am talking about right now. Okay. Otherwise, I haven't see any website that are delivering this kind of training. Okay. So anybody who want to join, they can join from 5th of January. Okay. So let's come with the today's topic. So I want guys this system to be managed node. IP is why they have this IP. One minute guys, because I've done some small changes in my network settings. One minute guys, please. One minute. Yeah. So MCLI connection up. One minute. Connection down. ENP0S3. We got to change something in my network setting, guys. So I'm just restarting my network settings. Okay. Yeah. So this IP come up. So I want 155 would be my managed node. So today's topic, guys, I'm first of all I'm going to take the topic of notify or the handler. Very important topic, very useful topic. And then we'll talk a little bit about exception handling. Okay, and maybe some more topic like this. So purely Ansible based core topic, but very much useful to solve any of the use cases. Okay, and this will be my controller node. So let's guys directly jump to the practical hands-on. By doing the practicals, you will understand what I'm talking about and which kind of use cases we have to solve. Okay, so guys, if you notice, if you remember, guys, in my some of my classes, we have created one playbook for the web server. But understand one thing, guys, it's not about only creating the playbook, or it is also not about to write the steps. You should know your main motto also. Okay, maybe step one you write, step two you write. So your main motto is, because my main motto, let's say here, is to configure web server. This is my main motto. So while configure web server, maybe some step you write in the between, they might be sometime useful, but may not be so much critical for the configuration of the web server. What I mean by this, for example, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to write a playbook again from the scratch, and this is one of my play. Okay, and in this play, I'm going to run this play on IP 151. And the task or the module I'm going to run would be let's say my plan is to run what I say command module, and I'm going to run a command called delete. Okay, and then one more task I would like to run here called package task, and package task going to install software for me. That's again stdpd. Okay, and by default state is present, so you don't have to use the state if you don't want. And then let's say I would like to use the service, and service name, you guys know it again, stdpd. Okay, I think I'm right, syntax wise, right, to make it clear that in this way. And maybe if you want to use the state, let's say my state is started. Okay, so technically, because we know our use case is to configure web server, and web server we have to run one step, two step, or maybe while running the step I might have to run somewhere some command or to create some folder, something like this. Okay, and now obviously when I run this playbook, if I don't have any syntax error, so this will run for you. But important thing in the Ansible is that you know that when you run the playbook, they run the task in the same order, the order that you write in your playbook. So they first run command module, so task or package task or service task. Okay, but this is the by default nature, guys, of the Ansible is, if due to some reason, if one of the task fail, some error come. Okay, if this task fail, then entire playbook will fail. What I mean by this, let's say let's say I accidentally write, guys, some wrong spelling here. Okay, or maybe wrong spelling, or maybe let's say wrong name. Just let me try, right? Maybe they might give the error. So I write this wrong attribute here. Let me try to run the playbook. My intention, guys, to I want this task will fail. Guys, this task fail, right? This task fail. This task fail. And the by default issue, guys, challenge is good thing in the Ansible, I can say, not challenge, is if this task fail due some of the reason, okay, the all the remaining next task will be failed. And most of the time, guys, this might be very, very useful, because obviously if this task fail, so there is no need to run other task also. Why we have to run other task? Okay, but guys, this is not the always the true, right? For this, you should know first your requirement. Think what your requirement. If you think your step two is so critical, and by chance if your step two fail, there's no meaning to run the further step. Because for example, in my case, step two is actually critical, because this step is the one who installs the software for me. And without installing software, there's no meaning to configure the file. There's no meaning to start the service. Even though if you try to start the service without installing the software, they won't work, because without the software installation, the service never come up. So technically, yeah, this is the critical step for us. And I want, if this step fail, the remaining also fail. Okay, but this step is not critical for us. So I run my playbook and say, if this step run, if it's run, that's good. If by chance fail, that's okay. If fail, that's okay for us. But if I'm running the playbook, remaining steps is critical for us. Okay. So you know what I'm talking about. The by default nature of the Ansible is they consider all the task is critical. If one of the tasks fail, the next task after this, they will automatic, give the fatal error, and they terminate the program. Okay, this is by default nature. In this example is good, but for example, if you take the same thing here, for example, if I write a wrong command name here, date123, and guys, this for us, this might not be so much critical task, but if it's fail, okay, it will fail or terminate the further task. Okay, so what I'm talking about, guys, here is sorry, if any error come up, sorry guys, if any error come up, so by default nature of the Ansible is by default nature of the Ansible is they fail the further modules. So if you want to control the Ansible, and how you want to control, I will have to control the error of the Ansible. And if you want to control the error of the Ansible, then this topic is known as error handling. Okay, so there's a lot of way available in the Ansible through which you can handle the error. Okay, and one thing that I would like to handle here is called error handling. Sometimes error is also known as exception. So I would like to do exception handling. Okay, so if I want to do error handling over here, okay, what I would handle here is I would have to tell my Ansible, I know if this task fail, you won't allow the next step. But for me, because I'm the one who writing the playbook, and for me, I know this task is not so much critical for me. If it's run, that's good, and if it's not run, some error come up in this task, don't terminate my playbook. I want at least keep on running my remaining my task here. And for this, guys, Ansible come up with the one keyword to handle the error. That's called ignore errors. Equals to yes. So if you think, right, this this task might be possibility, guys, this task will fail. So in this case, and you also think, guys, after this task fail, you don't want your program will terminate. You want keep on running your program and go to next task. If this is the case, then this keyword will helpful for us. Now what the difference you will see, difference you see like this. Now guys, by chance, as soon as they feel and then see this task got some fatal error or error exception come up, they ignore this thing. But they don't terminate the entire program. They send to the next task and they keep on continuing this task. And even though if you notice here, they ignored one task here. Other tasks they keep on running. So, but it is all, guys. It's not like always you write ignore error. According to my requirement, I never write ignore error here, because for me this is a very critical task. Because package is not installed, right? And if they skip this, my lot of things will depend on my packages. They won't also run. So it's different, guys, where you have to write the ignore error. So ignore error, guys, is one of the um, keyword for handling the exception or the errors. Like this, there would be more. So as guys, we keep on coming different kind of errors, I keep on adding some more new keywords. Okay, so this is one thing I would like to tell you here. Second thing, guys, you know one thing already, that is, if you are configuring the web server, normally you put some web pages here. You guys know this part already. So we put some web pages in some folder, let's say over here, and the content I am putting here would be, let's say, hi test. Okay, but most of the guys, you also configure the what I say, the configuration file. So for this, again, you can use a copy module, or you can use template. We normally always want to use template. You guys know why. And normally we put the conf file in this folder. Let's say this is linuxworld1.conf or linuxworld.conf. And because it's a config file, either you can write all the data here with the content, or we can upload the file from source. And let's say this is linuxworld.conf. And because this template is always good practice to use Jinja format, because in this config we might have to write some kind of code also, or I can say embedded code. Okay, and this file we write here. So this kind of example we see, I think, one or two times already. And in this file, normally we write some kind of keyword. For example, let me use one of the keyword called listen. Let me use the port number 8080. It means this is the configuration file. It means my web server will run on port number 8080. That's all. And if I run my code, this example we've seen multiple times. When I run my code, what you will see, they will upload the configuration file. And after they upload the configuration file, port number 8080 will start. Let's see. So they upload the template file, software already installed. And but if you notice one thing that I already told you in my last classes, all right, this template is not the normal template. It is the configuration file. According to this color, it means they change the configuration file. And guys, because they change the configuration file, even though I can go and check also, okay, this is the system. And if you go to this file folder, there's new file come up, or I can say the change file is changed. The port number come up with 80. Till here it work. But it what always, guys, logically, if something change in the configuration file, they are only come in effect, right, when your service start or restart. But this green color say, okay, that they doesn't or haven't start this service, or they restarted the service. Okay, they say they haven't restarted the service. It means it means, or plus this green color also say one thing. This task say I've seen this 155, and what I found, the service was already running. Or because of my idempotence nature, because I've seen the service was already running, because of my idempotence nature, if my current state equals to desired state, I don't rerun the task. That's the reason I haven't restarted service. So finally, what I got here, if I run and check the port number 8080 is not running, because service not started. Okay, and it's not like service not running. If you see here, status command, service running, and this is the only challenge, guys, because the modules of the Ansible 99.99% work on the concept of idempotence. Okay, and because they work on the concept of idempotence, that is a reason, if you run this playbook again, with the verbose option, okay, and if you see the template task, also it's a service task, they will show you the output of the service task. Okay, 1 minute. Because normally, mostly all the modules in the Ansible work in idempotence. So what you'll see, this service module say, well, I work on idempotence, so I have to always check the changed feature. Okay, because you are looking for to start the service, And what I found, service was already running. What you're looking for is there, but means what your desire is there. So I don't change this. So my change is full. There's a green color come up. It means I haven't restarted service. And you guys know, if you don't restart service, uh, right, there's no meaning to reload the conf file. For the conf file change, you have to restart service. That you guys know. And that is the reason, guys, in my last class, if you remember, in my last class, what we did for this challenge, we changed my state to restart. Okay, but if you change the state to restart, now what you will find, nothing, whatever we wanted. Okay, so after you conf upload, your server will be restarted. That's what we wanted. Okay, but again, the challenge we have here is, okay, we like one feature of the of the Ansible, and the feature of Ansible that we like is a feature called idempotence, and this is one of the great feature we always want in the automation tool or the configuration management tool, idempotence. These features say, okay, this task and all the tasks should be so much intelligent. They always go to this IP. Okay, and they always go to this IP, and because you're looking to start a service, it's already there. Okay, they don't, please don't do this and skip this task entirely and go to the next task. It will save your time, money, and CPU. Okay, but here, guys, if you use if you use the restart keyword, so by chance, service module has a idempotence feature. Okay, but inside the service module, this particular variable or key don't have a support for idempotence. What I mean by this, okay, this time I run because my conf file uploaded, new content goes, so they restarted. That's good. That's what I wanted here, because they restarted. So my port number have been changed to 88, and they started. But now, guys, if I run my playbook again, maybe there's maybe some more changes we have in some other tasks. So I have to restart it. I have to rerun my playbook. You have to rerun my playbook. But this time, you know what? I know we haven't changed in the conf file, and that's what you can see here in a minute. Your conf file is not changed. But even though your conf file won't change, your service will always restart. See here, conf file won't change, right? Even the service start. Again, if I run, again this start. Every time you run the playbook, every time service will restart. Or my service mode run. And you guys know when service mode run, it means they are restarting service. The two challenges you will get here, you guys get here. One, I know there is no change, so why we are running this task again and again? So it will consume your CPU and time also. Second challenge here is, right, uh, guys, it's not good practice in the server to restart your services unwanted. Maybe at the time of restart, we know what I mean by restart. First stop, then start. And when you stop, that time if some client come up and that time service stop, maybe for millisecond a second, you will have disconnectivity. And some of the service guys create some caches on the RAM. If you restart services, they can remove the caches, and caches is most of the time is very great thing. Okay, so the lot of challenge, guys, you will see when you restart your services. So now what I want, actually, I want, now if you guys, if you see here, now see here, there's two different tasks. Okay, one is templates task, and one is service task. And what I want, guys, now this service task, behind the scene, we are using a state called restarted, and restart has a challenge. Restart means always restart service. If service stop, I start it. If service start, then stop the service and again start it. That's the meaning of the restart. Okay. So now I want in the service module, because we asked them to use the restart keyword, then only the conf file will reload in the RAM, my config file. But what I want from my service, my service task, I want service task. Okay, please don't run yourself. Okay, whenever you run the playbook, don't run yourself. Think you are not the task. Don't run. So I will hide you. I will hide you in one box. Okay, I will write your code, but you can think in this way. I will hide you in one kind of box. Okay, so you can think like this. I'll hide you somewhere. So think you are not the part of this code. So when I run this code, only these lines will run. This task will run. But I will do one thing here. Okay, I will tell my template module, and because template module guys is the one who will change my conf file. So I'll tell my template module. Template module do one thing. Whenever you run yourself, okay, and when you think the green color won't come up, orange color come, it means you change something. Means change something. Okay. So if you change something, it means something change in the conf file. If something change in the conf file, then this is your duty to tell this guy, the guy who in the box that has the service task, that is the restart options, to tell this guy, now this is time to run this task because I changed. So because I changed, I will only update. Or if I change my conf file change, my conf file only come in place in as a working way when you rerun yourself or run yourself. So this concept is actually known as notify. Okay. So template module or maybe copy module, package module, depend guys when you want to notify. So we'll tell my template module notify. Okay. When you change something, when something change uh, in your task, when you run your task. Okay. Then notifies get this guy, and this guy will do the remaining handling. And that is reason guys this box is known as handlers. So we can create a lot of handlers in this file. The good thing about handler is just like a normal task. It's like a normal task. You can see here, this is just a normal task. Okay. But if you don't want this task always run, so you can put this task in one box, and this box is called handlers. That's all. So as soon as you guys put one task inside the handler, like if you notice here, till now, our task command and package always the part of task key. Now this time guys, this product task is a part of my handler key. Okay. And guys, this would be come in the same indent, so we have two space here, so you have to give two space here. Okay. But you can think handler is something like a function. Now guys, when you write something inside the function in the programming language, a function never run. If you run your code multiple times, function never run till the time we call the function. And here, if you want to call the function, in this case here, this concept is called notify. Notify is, you can think it is like a calling the function. But guys, let me rerun my code again to show you. So I created one handler. Think it is a one function they created for us. Okay. So now what you will see here, my service function or my service task module is there in my playbook. But when I run this play, hundreds of times, they will never run. So guys, here there's no service run. It look like this, there's no service task available. But if you want to run this function, so when you want to run, so I want template module. Please tell me when to run. Okay, so template module is the one. Okay, who will tell me? And for this, we have a keyword called notify. So I want template module. Please notify me. Okay, please notify me. And guys, notify is a pre-internal keyword in the task, so it should be same intent with the task. Like yesterday we used when close, right? So like same intent will come up, and you can use notify everywhere in the copy also, package also, some other way also. But what is the use of notify? Notify guys behind the scene check one thing. Okay, notify only run whenever this task change, and when this task change, when we change something in the conf file or upload something here. If you don't change the conf file, we won't upload. We won't upload if this file won't change. If this file won't change, the entire task won't change. That time notify won't work. But when you change something, okay, and notify say I will have to notify something, and to whom we have to notify? We have to notify this handler or this function. But there might be not one, there might be more handlers. Let's say we might have one more handler, for example, debug handler. And this debugger is the one who will print some message for us, test message. So you can write all the all the module till date, whatever we have learned, or what you guys might know. Okay. Now challenge here is a challenge here is, if you want notify will notify this handler. So how can they notify? Okay, because now we have two handlers, service handler or debug handler. Or there might be more service module. Okay, maybe I have one more service for let's say for HA proxy. Okay, HA proxy. Okay, so how notify tell I would like to use this handler, not this handler. So guys, like in programming world, we always give a function what a name. And guys, whenever we want to use the function, you have to use the function name if you want to call and run it. And that is the reason, guys, we have to give the name. So how to give the name? The same way we have discussed, right? So the name, for example, name is web services name. And that is a good reason, guys. Always give her task a name. I told you guys in my initial classes also. Here we haven't give my task name, but it's always good practice to give the task name. First of the one of the reason is if you give the task name, it printed here. And second reason is if you don't give the task name, and if you want to call the task, maybe with the help of handler or maybe other way also, without giving the name, it won't work. Now this handler has a name web services, so I can go to Nirva and say we have one handler with the name called web services. I want I want please go and call this guy. So the how we write the code, it's something like this. If something changed here, then only notify this guy. Notify means call the function. Which function? The function that has this name. And guys, by chance here function means handler. So they go to this handler and ask to run. And guys, whenever this guy run, they will restart service. That's what we want. Okay. So now if I run my playbook, what you will see. Okay. After my template module, my notify will run or not. Let's see. Okay. Now guys, here you see notify won't run. How I know? Because if notify run, they should call this guy and they should run. And why this guy won't run? Because nothing is changed. But if I change something in my conf file, let's say I'll go to my Jinja file, my source file, or let me change here. Maybe let me change the port number 80, 81, maybe. Let's try 81. Okay. Because before this, let me stop my SLS because maybe SLS might not allow 81, maybe. So let me run this. So what you will see here. Yeah. So what do you see here? Okay. You see here, because this guy changed, so they call the handler or they call the function, ask them to run, and the function name is this one, or handler name is this one, and they run it for us. Because they run it, it means if I go to the system and try to see this port 80 is there, no, 8081 is there, yes, is here. That's all, guys, they are working. Okay, and now good thing is because we have changed something here, they start services. Because something changed, they will start services. Okay, but if I run my playbook again, they will see, guys, now this time this service handler will see nothing has been changed. They won't start the service. That's what we want. And there's the great there's actual concept of idempotence. So now guys, here they won't run. And this won't run till the time next time my conf file will change and update. Okay, so guys, this kind of concept, guys, we can use in multiple angles also. Same thing you can do with my yesterday concept also, the way I explained to you. Okay, yesterday concept also, the concept was I can run this template. I can store the output in register in one variable. And without handler, I write when close. And the when close we can write if this task has changed equals to false, don't run, otherwise run. Same thing I can do with when close or the register keyword also, the way I used yesterday. That is also right. But I believe handler and notify is a for this kind of approach. Okay, for this kind of approach or this kind of use case, template and the notify or the handler is more optimized. If you notice, guys, here, if you notice here, okay, they are not checking the task also. Okay, for them and for the playbook, this task is not at all available. If you're not available, at least means they are not they are not actually running the task or checking the things, the state, current state, desired state. Some so is a pure. It will look like this task is not available. This function is not available. So you save a lot of memory and time, right? Okay, but if you go for WAN or register one for this task to implement, it it won't run the task, but at least they go and check the current state and other state. They check these things, so it will come with extra CPU cycle. And if you guys know something called time complexity, so it will make your code more time complex. Okay, so 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 in that so technically in the if you talk about the optimization perspective for this kind of use case, okay, this is very useful. But it doesn't mean register or when close is not important. In some of the example, we might not able to use notify handler. There we have to use a register, or I can say the when close. That's what I want to tell you here. Okay. Now, one more interesting thing I would like to explain you here, guys, that I told you yesterday. That is, right now we are using the software called HTTPD. Okay, because we know 155 is a web server. Okay, but if you're more a lot of IPs we have, and we put all the IPs in a file called inventory, and we give a group name. One IP may be Red Hat, some IP may Red Hat or Ubuntu, something like this. And if you want to configure all the guys, you guys know, rather than we give the IP, we give the group name. So they will run against all the IPs. Now, if one of the IP of Ubuntu come up, they will run. And you know what happened, guys? Finally, this task fail. And because this task fail, and data also fail. So we can use ignore error to handle these things, maybe. Okay. But better way to control is when close. I told you yesterday. Okay. But for the when close, okay, for the when close, we have to find out the OS name. So I'll say here, if the OS name is that you guys know we discussed already, if the OS name of this guy is a Red Hat, then use the software. And from where we get the OS name, we got the S name from the variables. Or maybe we can directly get from there also. So I create one variable called OS name, and it's come from Ansible facts and distribution. So this example, guys, we discussed yesterday already. Okay, very quickly, let me run this code just for test my syntax. Then I come to my main discussion here. So you know, guys, if you talk about the real what happened? It's right. It's right. It's not right. What happened? Variables. We write a variable in this way also, right? Oh, sorry. Is is Ansible, right? It's not equals to, it's colon. Okay. So guys, you know what? If you have a group of hosts that are the guys, very important concept I'm discussing right now, right? And for other tools also, for example, one of the great competitor of Ansible is Puppet. Okay, so for other tools, for this concept, they have a different tool they have integrated. For example, if you talk about Ansible, so they have one great competitor called Puppet. And the use case that I'm talking about in the Puppet kind of tool, right? They have a in the Puppet, right? They have integrated very different product to solve this use case. Okay, what use case I'm talking about, and very much advanced use case, very much useful, simple, but very much useful for the real world. Okay, so it is something like this. You know what happened, guys? We will create one single playbook. We create one single playbook, and I would like to run this playbook in all the IPs here. And the challenge here is the challenge over here is some of the IP having the OS called Red Hat and the version 7. Some of the IP have OS called Red Hat version 6. Some of the IPO has a Ubuntu with, let's say, 14.04 version. So multiple different kind of environment we have. Okay, so most of the things are same, but OS to OS, maybe in Red Hat 7, uh, 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 yum command is same, systemctl command is same. Okay, that will be taken care by Ansible. But in Red Hat 7, maybe I want to install Java, let's say JDK, that has a version 1.9. But in Red Hat 6, due to some support, I also want to install Java, that will be installed by Yum maybe. Ansible will taken care, but the JDK version maybe 1. Let's say 7 or 6, or maybe Ubuntu. I also want to install JDK, but Open JDK or maybe other JDK, a Java software. Just one example. Okay, so who will install the software? That's the OS dependent command. Maybe you move to apt-get or Red Hat Yum. So that will get taken care by package module. Okay, but but in the Red Hat, according to my requirement, it doesn't mean that Ubuntu don't support 1.9 or Red Hat 6 doesn't support 1.9. They support, but maybe according to my application deployment, right? My application in Red Hat 6, due to some OS based support or kernel support or some other feature support. Okay, if you install JDK 1.9 here in Red Hat 6, my application that for what everybody is working here won't properly work. But in Red Hat version 7, if you install some other version, it won't work. So what am my point over here is, right? I want to install this software, maybe this file or start this services, maybe any of the requirement you have. But let's say I want to install this software only if the OS is Red Hat. Okay, but not only OS Red Hat, but I also want to check the version of the OS. So I can use and. So I can, let's say, if OS version is equals to, let's say, 7. Okay, and how you get the OS version? Again, we have one answer facts. You can get from there. So pretty straightforward. There's nothing special. Okay, but you know what, guys? In this example, okay, in this example, um, the challenge is by chance this example very simple, right? Very straightforward. We have one single value to check. Just one, guys. I'm going to add some more word here. You can very easily understand. So let's say we have a package known as HTTP, and let me give the P here. Same thing, right? So P means HTTP. Okay. So P is one of the variable, and this P is a software name. But this software only installed when the OS is Red Hat and the version is a Red Hat 7. And we'll get the version again the way we get the OS name with some kind of facts. Okay, facts has some OS version also. Okay, but important point over here is, uh, if you have like this, we have hundreds and thousands of variables. Okay, variables here, because they may be in this playbook there's hundreds and thousand tasks, and in the OS Red Hat, in the OS Red Hat, my software name is HTTPD. But if the OS is if OS is Ubuntu, then my package name is, let's say, Apache 2 over here. That I told you yesterday. But obviously, guys, in the same file, you can't write two variables with different names. So maybe this may be P1, this may be P2, or maybe you have one more OS that also have different software name. Maybe let's say Windows. Okay, then you have to write P1 here if this is Red Hat. We have to write one more task P2 here if this is Ubuntu. So lots of variables created, 100,000 variable created. But understand one thing, the main point just I want to tell you here. Okay, here I'm talking mainly about the management of the code. Okay, managing the code or the variables that we are managing the code is not the best way on the proper way. Okay, so you know what finally happened? Okay, maybe a 10 different OS, right? Maybe my package maybe 1 or 10 times, but 10 different variables just for packages, maybe for services, maybe for versions, maybe for file name, maybe for content, maybe or conf file, maybe. Okay, So you know what, guys? For example, this group having 100 different IPs, and let's say one of the IP is 155. So you know what I want? I want my playbook automatic find IP 155, the OS name, let's say Red Hat. They automate find the version of the OS, let's say Red Hat 7. And we know in the Red Hat 7, I want this software. Okay. So what I want, I don't want to write the software names and maybe some more thing related to Red Hat 7 in the main conf file or main playbook. Okay. The better way to manage is, right, is what can I do? I can create some extra files, something like this, red hat -7.yml. I give my file name exactly same name, my OS name, then hyphen, or maybe dot dot, or maybe something like this, then 7, my OS version.yml. And this file I just only create for creating the variable, like p colon http. Okay, my software like this. So you know what, guys? It was something like this. I create one more file here for red6, or here I can get the same variable p colon, let's say here software version maybe have different version, just for example. Okay, so I create one more file here. This is for Ubuntu, let's say 14 or 4. Here also I create one more variable called p maybe Apache 2. Now interesting thing is, when you run the playbook, okay, so for example, you know in your company you have 10 thousands of computer, but total number of OS and the environment is maybe 10. Some of the OS are Red 6, some are Red 7, some are Ubuntu 14, or some are Windows servers 16, Windows 16. Okay, so you create for OS specific variable files or parameter files. Okay, now what happened, guys? Only one playbook you have. So whenever you run this playbook, now you don't have to write the variables here. Okay, you don't have to write the variables here. Okay, and you guys know how to include the file. Okay, just go and include that file. You guys know I'd given this keyword called var files, and all the files that has a variables include this. But maybe, guys, here there might be possibility you have 10 or maybe 20 different files that has a variables. Maybe possibility. Okay, so again, guys, again, keep on including all the files might not good. So I want, guys, again, this task I'm going to give you, I'll show you guys. I will little bit give you more explanation of this concept tomorrow again. But I just want to give you one idea on use case and some thing to you think you can also do this, because I have already given you all the concept through which you can solve this, right? So what I want, guys, this keyword, and this keyword we can include the file of the variable. For example, one of the file name I have is red hat 6.yml. It means where files is what keyword, they will go and look for this file, and all the variable in this file they include. And after they include, I can use the variables somewhere, wherever we used. But again, guys, this is not good practice. But guys, right now I don't have one single file. I have lots of file for like this, lots of file for this. Okay, so what I want here also to have some kind of uh, intelligent decision. Maybe I have 10 variable files, but I want, whenever I run the playbook, and let's say my playbook is running against 155, only file, for example, IP 155, and my what you say effects automatically this is Red Hat 6 or Red Hat 7, or if they did this Red Hat 6, so this keyword only include the file that is Red Hat 6. They don't touch these files. And good thing is, guys, in all the files, if you notice, guys, here in all the files, okay, name is different, value is different, but my variable name is same. But only one file if I include at one point in time for that particular IP. Okay, variable name is same, but the value will be different. For Ubuntu is different. Okay. Now what happen, guys? If you do so, you know what will you will achieve. Now you don't have to use when close all the time. Just use the variable p. That's all. Just use the variable p. So what happened? Where this p variable come from? From this variable. So this file, and this file contain what? P variable with some value. Okay. But this file, guys, will include dynamically, because per OS we create their file, or per OS distribution we create the file. Every file value is different. Every file variable name is same, but their value is different. That's what we want to write. So if Reddit include P's HTTPD, if Ubuntu is the target node, then software is Apache 2. Okay. So guys, my task is, I'm not showing this demo right now, but very interesting, very much useful topic. Uh, by chance, guys, we don't have this topic in our Red Hat official program, but I've seen a lot of use cases in the industry. So when you compare to Puppet, for solving this use case, they have a concept called Hira databases, or maybe some more concept they have. So independent product that we use in the Puppet. So if you go for Puppet Hira, so so this is the concept, guys, they use in the Puppet to solve this kind of use case. But in the Ansible, guys, we don't have to go for some other tool for lookups and doing and create this kind of hierarchy per OS basis, without using this kind of extra tools, extra support, or extra library, right? Extra library, for example, in Hara, right? We can solve in the Ansible. And how we can solve? That's I want to give to you. So technically, practical wise, guys, pretty simple. If you understand all the concept of variables and include the files, right? Or maybe including the Jinja. If you try, guys, otherwise I'll show you my answer maybe tomorrow in my next classes. Okay. But this use case is very important because you know what? I want 100 or 10 different OS flavors and distribution we have. I can't create condition like when this OS this one, or when it's become unwanted code. And for per task unwanted, for package, right, a lot of when, copyright, lot of when, in the main file hundreds of variable come up. So rather than do one thing, rather than we write when again and again in all the tasks, okay, just include only that particular file that your OS is belongs to. And in this file, just manage your variables. Manage the variables. And also, this is also useful, guys. Maybe in the future, if you think in the Red Hat 6, you don't want to use this software, you don't have to open your main file, just go and change it, 1.2. So any of the Red Hat 6 OS come, only this version will change. Otherwise, everything is same. Okay. So I think you very high level got the idea. I haven't show you guys solution. I want guys just you go and try this task. Very much useful. A lot of use cases I've seen um, that can be solved very easily. And guys, this is more about managing the huge environment or complex environment. Okay. So that's all, guys, for today. Some of the tasks I've given and some of the concepts we have discussed today. All right. So next class, guys, again will be on Tuesday. So we'll go for some more deep dive into the Ansible. Okay. And this kind of guys topic I keep on taking in my next classes. That's all, guys, from my side. Any queries if you have, you can ask me. Yes, Pankaj, I will definitely try to show you the Ansible web UI. Definitely try. Yes, Sobit, you can use single handler for multiple tasks. But for all the other tasks, have to call the same handler with the again notifier. Chirag, normally we write the handler and normally in the last. Okay, but handler is not a part of task. So you write the handler not in the task block. So as soon as the task block complete, you can write the handler. So when we use where underscore file, same we Dux we have to use, but where underscore file can show you one more interesting use case. I try to explain you very quickly here, but in my next class I will give you more explanation, and I'll also show you how to use where underscore file in a more optimized way. Chetan Kumar, the time for CKA batch, Kubernetes batch would be same. So after the Ansible training complete, we same time will carry forward with the Kubernetes batches. The timing would be, according to my knowledge, I think the time would be 9:15. They might be a little bit changed. Maybe it go to 8:45. Might be. So we'll guys update you in your group. So Nisha, you're saying what is a fatal error role in include or require PHP? Where you got this error? Actually, I wasn't able to understand. Understood actually. Uh, we can let me explain. I have one web app in GIF format, and how can we use Relit? Yeah, Nisha, I have some example on this. Okay, we have a GIF format, and here's some code in GitHub. We download and we host. Okay, we upload. So I have multiple example on GitHub, or maybe in URL or zip format, right? So maybe in next week I'll take some kind of example like this. So maybe what you're asking, it might solve. So um, one guys, I've seen same queries again and again. I'm looking. Can be never two handler for same task. Yes, multiple combination you can try. Nice, it will work. Abhay, FQDN is fully qualified domain name, like www.google.com dot is a fully qualified domain name. Sagar will start Git or GitHub in my art program. Yes, Aswan, I told you, I will definitely show you one demo on Windows for Windows also. Akash time is fixed. We don't change the time. Time is 9:50 and the other timing is 7:30. So time is always fixed. Sometimes we give the extra classes like in Earth, we some classes we start at 6:30. There's a different point. So I'm just checking guys. I'm able to figure out. Same question I've seen multiple times. Yes, Sandeep, what you asked me, AWS homework update then identify dynamically. We search a respective region. Shall we search? Yes, definitely you can search, but rather than you search your public IP, your VPC won't tell you the IP. So there's no meaning to search the public IP of each other instance of VPC. Try to think in other way. Just a small hint. Maybe when you launch the instance, one task run. Maybe ask a task to wait for some time. After wait, then give me the output, and that output we can register. Because when you launch the instance, it takes some second to start and assign the public IP. So you can think how can we ask the task to wait. This is one of the approach you can use. Yes, Sumit, we will discuss a concept of multi-threading on the Ansible. Rather than we say multi-threading, I think in the Ansible, the better term would be parallelism. So we have a concept of parallelism in Ansible. We'll discuss. So So that's why guys, I've seen same questions multiple time. How to register it nested list to the variable not defined. How to register in nest. Rishabh, this one, this multiple example of list or arrays or nested list or collections we have in my upcoming classes. So anything related to this, we will discuss. Is there any way to implement intelligence like AIML in Ansible to solve tasks and challenge automatic or intelligence? So it depend what kind of task you want to solve. Okay, because for per task solving and per use case, right? In machine learning, we have to use a different model for this. So yes, we can take Ansible with machine learning and ask the machine learning to learn something and ask the Ansible to solve. But what? You do first think what is your final goal or target. If Deepak, you reach to emergency mode in Red Hat, normally, if you know fstep file, if you do some mistake in fstep file, that is one of the reasons you may reach to emergency mode. But if you think there's no error you did, just try to run exit command 2 or 3 times, 2 times especially, they take you out. But again, if you reach to emergency mode, there might be some issue in the one of the issue maybe in the fs step file. Actually, journal CTL that have an XC is not the error. So when you run the service in the Linux, some service won't run, some error come up. If you want to read the detail about the error, why the error come up, so you can run the journal CTL space have an XC command. It will just give you some detailed information about why this error come up. So journal CTL have an XC is a good command, right? That has integrated with multiple different services. Not for all the command, but some of the commands and services. So that's all guys for today, and all other guys same thing, query will be solved in my next classes. Bye, take care, see you.